You've been given a secret agenda. You must bring up 3 iconic Australian song titles in normal conversation. You cannot quote lyrics, sing them, or name the artists. The reward for success: you can use ChatGPT in today's trivia segment. The punishment for failure: you're banished from the podcast forever.
No way!
The song titles are Down Under, You're the Voice, The Horses. Good luck.
G'day everyone, welcome to the Poker Pulse podcast. Thanks for joining us again today. As you can see, I've got our regular co-host Catherine Young and Troy Mclean. How are you guys?
Yeah,
and
good.
Down the bottom right-hand corner of our screen, you can see our special guest, and that is Lydia Texas Grandma. How are you, Lydia?
I'm doing great.
It's great to have you on the show. I think you're the first international guest we've had joining us from across the pond, all the way from, is it Dallas, Texas?
Yes, I'm just outside of Dallas. I'm in Heath, which nobody would know, but it's just outside of Dallas.
Well, just before we get into the podcast, I just wanted to mention the Australian Poker Schedule website. It's a website that I run. It's where you can find all the poker series that are on in Australia at the moment and coming up. So players in Australia can jump on there and find out where they can play a local series. And it's obviously good too. We might have some international guests. If they ever come over to Australia and they want to find out what series are on, they can check out australianpokerschedule.com.au and find out everything. There's plenty of information. We share results, we share schedules, we share all the information that any poker player could need. And we have Facebook and Instagram, so make sure you follow those. Before we get into the podcast and start talking about all sorts of cool stuff with Lydia, I just wanted to thank everyone that tuned into our last Poker Pulse podcast, where we talked about the rake. We dedicated a special episode just to that. We had a guest, Josh McSweeney, join us and all that. So it was great to hear a lot of feedback from players about that and how they appreciated us speaking up for operators that have some high rake and some really turbo structures, and Josh's insights on that were really fantastic. Ironically, the following week, we had one of the poker operators increase their rake slightly, and another poker operator continued to put on some 12-minute hyper turbo blind structures with high rake as well. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but we're still going to keep talking about that. And there are some series coming up, and Sydney Millions is around the corner. The Ville. Troy, you said last episode you might be going up to the Ville.
I think I might cancel the trip there.
Well,
just after all the rake stuff, and I think I might give it the axe.
Yeah, I mean, luckily there's plenty of other poker around, so it's up to you. Players have to pick their games. Make sure you pick wisely. Have a look what the best value options for you are for your own bankroll, etc. So, but anyway, I wanted to put a line under that for now. Cathy, you just want to? I think I saw Troy wearing a Poker Pulse hoodie. Is that right, Troy?
Yes, this is our collaboration with Project Sunrun. We do have the hoodies, and they are amazing. I've got my own set. We've got a black, and we've got this color as well. You obviously seen us wearing it around in the series. Yeah, Project Sunrun. We did the collaboration with them. Go onto their Instagram page, follow them, and buy one of our hoodies.
Yep, and also just like and subscribe to the channel. We always appreciate seeing people liking and subscribing to our channels, so please do that. But let's get into it. The whole reason of this show is we've got Lydia Texas Grandma. She's been on $1 Million Secret, reality TV show on Netflix. She was a star on that. We loved watching her. I was devastated when she got knocked out. And we are going to have a few spoilers on this show. So if you haven't watched it yet, pause the video, go and watch that on Netflix, and then come back and watch that.
It's an amazing show. One to watch.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I binged
Such
it
a
too.
good show to watch.
It was so cool. There's so many cool characters on there, and some interesting challenges and
High drama.
secret agendas on there. They were fun to watch. So we'll talk about that, and of course we've mentioned you're from Texas, which I haven't actually been to Texas, but I've been to the USA, and I would really love to go to Texas and do a road trip around there. So
Come visit.
yeah, Cathy, go for it. You got some questions for Lydia, I'm
I do.
sure.
I have so many questions. One of the biggest parts of the show I thought was the scenery, the house. It was an insane house, like the backdrop. It was a huge mansion. Tell me about the house. Were you allowed to just have free reign of it? Like, what was it like being in the house? What was it like when the cameras were off versus when the cameras were on?
It was a beautiful chateau. It was set in Canada. So we were in Okanagan, Canada, about 3 hours north of Vancouver. And
Okay.
we didn't know anything really about the show before we got there. The working title originally was The $1 Million Deception. So we knew it was going to be about deception. And it was 12 people competing for $1 million. So, you know, poker player, I thought the odds 12 to 1 for $1 million. Sign me up, I'm going. And so we really didn't know that much about it, but it was a beautiful chateau. I had my own room, own bathroom. We stayed there the whole time. And the food was fantastic. There was a chef there. It was over the top. In fact, I'll tell you a funny thing. The first night after dinner, and I was about to go to bed, and one of the staff said, "Would you like a nightcap or something?" And I said, "To take to your room?" And I said, "Sure, I'll take, you know, a liqueur, maybe a Frangelico or Amaretto or something." And she said, "Let me get the key to the other cabinet." And she went and opened up a liquor cabinet and looked around a little bit and said, "Oh, here's a nice liqueur. It's Canadian. You probably like it." Poured me a little glass and handed it to me and said, "It's $4,000 a bottle." And I went, you know,
Oh
which
my
4,000 US is what, 6,000 Australian? Anyway, I said, I hope they have a big budget. Netflix is going to be getting the bill because I'll have one every night, you know. But it was beautiful. We didn't have cameras in our rooms or anything. So every morning, the microphone people would come into our rooms and mic us up after we were dressed. And that would be like at maybe 7:30 or 8 in the morning. And then we all had, you know, handlers, cast care people, and they'd say, "We're going to the living room or the dining room or the kitchen or the, you know, patio or something." And we could not talk until the cameras were rolling. So there were still cameras in a lot of common areas, and then there were actual camera people. And so there was no talking until the cameras were rolling. So, you know, 5 of us would be there, and then here comes the 6th person or something, and you could kind of go like, but you could not talk. And if you did, they heard you were mic'd, they heard it. If you so much as coughed, they heard everything until that night when you went to your room at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And so if you didn't wash your hands when you went to the bathroom, they would know. So it was all day filming. But a lot of times we would it looked like we were eating all the time. And we would, when they would say, "Okay, camera's rolling," then you could start talking. So then you wanted to talk to people and strategize and, you know, start talking and you're eating. And then they'd say, "Okay, cut, everybody. All right, we're going to get ready to go do, you know, a challenge." Or, "Kyle, we need you to come for an interview." And then, you know, they had 2 interview rooms. And so they would call you out of your conversations to go do interviews and stuff. So sometimes you had a lot of time to talk, and other times it was get your conversation in when you can. But if the cameras weren't on you and rolling, you were not allowed to talk to each other.
That seems really crazy.
Yeah, as expected, like being a massive production and a Netflix series, you know, the priority, I guess, is the TV ratings and the TV show and all that. So, yeah, I guess you've got to, you know, you're going to have orders and stuff to do. But they look like, yeah, as you said, like the food looks spectacular from what I saw. It would have been like, I'm not sure how that would compare to being put up in like a presidential suite at like Bellagio or.
It was every bit as nice. And we had a view of the lake. I mean, I could go out on my balcony in the morning. There were eagles perched in the tree outside my room. And, you know, it was, and anything you wanted, because there were some people that wanted a particular flavored water or energy drink or something like that. 2 hours later, there it was.
Yeah.
And they'd say, "What would you like with your breakfast?" And I'd say, tea, hot tea. What kind? Chai with a stevia. They go, and they're grinding the tea leaves. It was really, really top notch. It was a 5-star experience.
Did you get to use the pool whenever you wanted, or only when it was that time?
Wow. And it was a little bit cool. It was a little bit cool, and that pool was not heated. I didn't get it. No, I passed on. Now there was a jacuzzi that was heated. Did the jacuzzi, but you kind of had to depend on if you were mic'd or not. So I kind of put my feet in the jacuzzi because I had a microphone on.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, there was some pretty special places around it too. Like some of the places you did some of the challenges. We obviously saw the one where they flew the helicopter over to the glacier to get ice.
Cool.
That looked pretty cool. And then obviously the shooting range. I think I heard you talking on another podcast, the Reality Guys, and you mentioned that hound chasing that was actually filmed in a winery.
It was on the hound chase was actually on the estate grounds in the vineyard that was part of the estate, and they made it into a maze for that competition. And then we also did a boat ride over to a winery for the competition where you had to go get bourbon or scotch or something like that, find the barrel that it was in. We took the boat from the boathouse that was there on the estate over down the lake and across to a little resort area where there was a winery. So yeah, we did some cool things.
Yeah, the sets were amazing, I thought. Yeah, wow. Pretty cool experience. Sign you up, Cathy?
Oh, for sure. I was actually going to ask you about that question. Like, what was the application process like? How did you find out about it, and how long did it take you to go through the process?
Interestingly, mine was pretty short, but I think I was one of the last people cast. I was, I think, the only one that just was off the streets per se. Since it was a brand new show, and it was not like it was Survivor or something that people have seen and they know what to expect. They were kind of they went through casting. There are casting companies like Say Young had applied to be on Supermarket Sweeps, and I guess they didn't pick her for that. Then they asked her if she wanted to be on this one, and a couple of them had applied for dating shows. Kyle was supposed to be, I think it was on I would call it like a Duck Dynasty, guys on four-wheelers, backwoods kind of show. Chris was the finalist to be on Big Brother, and then got cut, and they asked him if he wanted to do this one. So, and Cara was supposed to do some sort of wedding show she had applied for when she got married, and didn't get picked for that. So they were all from different, already in the casting system. And mine popped up on my Instagram feed, and it just said, apply for a competition for $1 million. And I went, oh, and clicked the little autofill button. And then I got a text and an email and a phone call, gave my social security number, just, here you go. And figured out that it wasn't a scam. They weren't going to, kidnap me or something. They didn't want my bank account. And it just kind of went from there. So I guess maybe they were looking for an older woman from the South, and maybe that's why it popped up on my Instagram or something. But it was several different interviews. They do a background check. They do a criminal check. They do a psychological evaluation, which I think the bar's got to be set pretty low for those reality shows. But passed all that. And I found out I guess it was late February, early March, that I was going to be on it. Yeah, now that I think about it, it was probably late March, and we started filming May 1st. So I had the month of April to try to lose 20 pounds and get myself, I got to wipe my teeth, get my Botox, I was like coloring my hair, I need a full month to get ready. It's going to take a village, So anyway, yeah, so I didn't have that long. I think some of the other people knew in December that they were going to be on in May.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hear rumor is they just finished filming season 2.
Oh, okay.
And so that should be coming
continuing
out in 2026.
You didn't get the
Lovely.
call up?
What?
You didn't get the call up to go back?
No, they used all new people.
Yeah.
Yeah, season 2, I'd expect them to have all new people, but you never know, all these series is when they
As
have
far as I
successful,
know.
they have like sometimes they have like a spin-off series, like a celebrity or villains, like Survivor.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
but yeah, it's amazing how many like poker players you see on these reality TV shows too. I think the casting, they must sort of see that as something that they want, poker being, one of those games of bluffing and strategy. And,
Mhm.
I think it's got to be a thing. We've actually had a couple of Aussies you probably wouldn't have seen Survivor Australia, but we've actually had a couple of poker players from Australia. We've got King George of Bankstown, which is a place in Sydney. And I typed into ChatGPT before the show what would sort of Bankstown relate to in America, and it would be sort of similar to Queens, they reckon. So
Mhm.
King George of Queens, you can imagine the type of character is, the multicultural area, the fantastic food, the community sort of sporting and that sort of hub, like a really diverse community. King George of Bankstown, he went on to Survivor, and I think he came second, didn't he? And he's gone back for a few spin-offs. But he's a poker player, that's my point. And he travels around Australia playing, and he loves it. He's such a funny guy, and he's just got that really sort of personality that you want on a reality show. And I guess that's why they sort of picked you, too. Like you said, it didn't take long for them to pick you, like they saw you, they checked you out, and then they thought, yep, sign her up. She's what we want,
Yeah, it was pretty simple. We have had on the U.S. Survivor, I know they've had at least 1 or 2 poker players, but they haven't done that well. And I think because they told people they were a poker player.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't tell anybody that.
Yeah, you're very good. You're exactly
I
right.
like
Yeah. Yeah, Boston Rob, probably the most famous,
Yeah.
or the most successful on Survivor anyway.
I've just been watching Traders, the US Traders, and he's on that on the 2nd season
Yeah.
or 3rd season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Traders was also good.
they're doing, I've watched the Traders. In fact, when I got cast for the show, I started binge watching all the shows where they vote people off because Survivor was the only one I had seen. So I watched all the English speaking Traders and watched all the shows where somebody gets voted off, trying to figure out the strategies. And I figured out pretty quickly, most of these cast are going to be young and beautiful and hot, like swimsuit models. I'll probably be the
Hello,
oldest
Sydney.
person.
How hot
Yeah.
was Sydney? Wow.
Yeah.
That's the good one.
Yeah.
So I was expecting that.
Yep.
And so I was trying to figure out, how am I going to bond with these people? How am I going to get them to like me? Because you're more likely to vote somebody off that you don't relate to, especially in the beginning. And they don't show who got votes on the very first episode, but I did get votes. So the
Oh,
minute my feet hit the ground, I realized how people were, grouping together and talking a little bit more. And I thought, okay, I got to start playing this game right away and figure out how to bond with these people and get them to like me.
Yeah.
Who did you become really good friends with while you were in the show?
Say Young and I hit it off right away. And we both thought going in that the game was going to be like an escape room. So they said when we got there and Peter came down and told everybody that, one of you is going to get the $1 million and the rest of you have to figure out who it is, and you're going to have clues. So I am looking everywhere, tile patterns on the floors and, book titles on the shelves. And I am trying to get clues everywhere, complete mental waste because it was nothing like that. And Say Young was actually going around picking stuff up and looking underneath it. And I was just being kind of shifty-eyed with it. And so we didn't know. And so Say Young and I, she wanted to have an all-girl alliance too. And I was like, I'm on board. Anything that includes me, I'm on board. And Lauren and Sam. In fact, one of the things you don't see on the show, I'll tell you a little behind the scenes. The first day when everybody I think we got our lunch or something, and we all kind of went and sat around, and there's a group of people talking. Nobody was really approaching me or talking to me or anything. And I went up to, I know it was Say Young, Lauren, I think Sam, and said, do you mind if I sit with y'all? And they said, no, sure, go right ahead. And I said, well, obviously I wasn't invited to the cool kid table over there, which is feeding on people's insecurities from childhood. And I wanted to create a common enemy. And so it just happened to be 4 people sitting at another table. And I just kind of implied you weren't invited there either. And so we get talking and everything, and they're over there laughing and we're talking. And I said, looks like those 4 are already in an alliance. And, the food's not even cold yet. And so I tried to make it look like they're the other people. And I tried to create an alliance right away. And it worked. And so that was, one of the first things that I did. And on the first challenge, the hound, where people, had to let loose that hound that chased them down with a ball
That looks
tied to their back.
terrifying, by the way. That looked
Yeah, that was
absolutely
scary.
terrifying.
And I thought that when he said the 6 winners will go get a clue, I thought that meant the team, like the code decoder people or the runners being chased by the dog. So when I went up there, because the first person didn't get it, and when I went up and looked at and they said it's going to be 8 symbols, which when they said 8 symbols, I thought, okay, a tree, a star, a moon, a car, No, it was left, right, up, down, and they were very close together. Yeah. And I looked at it and right away thought, I can't memorize these 8. Because if you got it wrong, you had to reset the dial, go back, look again. So I memorized 4, ran up, put it in there, came back, got the other 4, ran up there, put it in, let the dog loose. And he caught her. So I went down to the other coders and said, okay, here's how you need to do it. The symbols are like this and this and this, and do 4 and 4, you'll have enough time. And so that way they could get it. And
that's how they got so good all of a sudden. Because at the start they were really bad, and then all of a sudden they just started, okay, this makes sense.
Because I thought they were on my team. And then it turned out it was just those 6 people that won. So when we went into the trophy room, they had to pick one person to get the clue, and they picked me. And I said, okay, I will tell you all whatever the clue is. What you don't see is when I came outside later on to tell everybody, I said to them, I first have to tell you something. I was offered an advantage in our next challenge if I wanted to keep the information to myself. But I told you guys I would tell you, so I'm going to tell you. That was a complete lie. I made it up because I thought it would buy me some currency in the game and make me seem more trustworthy.
Yeah.
And it did.
That's brilliant.
But you don't see any of that on TV.
Yeah,
So,
you were strategizing from the word go. That was really, really cool, and that's what you got to do. And I often think it's funny in these episodes, and it's a little bit silly, like when you go into a Traders or this type of show or Survivor, everyone's saying, I'm going to be honest with you. You don't believe me? Like, how can you not believe me? When it's like, well, you're all on this show, right? Like, you're obviously all playing the game. Oh, she's playing the game, I'm going to vote her off. Everyone's playing the game. Like, you're all trying to win $1 million. So it's just crazy. But the other thing I wanted to mention to you as well is what I noticed is, out of everyone on the show, all the guys, all the girls, I think you were the only one that didn't cry. You know what I mean? Like you were, you were playing the game, but you didn't have this sobby, emotional sort of, sobbing like about someone said this or someone got voted off.
There was so much crying. You don't even see all the time. Yeah. There was so much crying. And,
I didn't say you cry.
We say no one cares what you folded.
Exactly. I like it.
Move on, next hand.
Yeah, go ahead and move on with it. So, there was a lot of crying. And I know I looked cold-hearted, but I didn't care. But also you have to realize that how long the filming went on. I started off, trying to just be this sweet grandma. And it's hard to keep that up for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's hard to pretend to be that nice for that long to everybody. And so, I didn't say anything behind anybody's back. I wouldn't say to their face. So.
Yeah, no, I appreciate about it. You remind me of my grandma in that way too. Like she was someone who just, if she saw something she didn't like, she'd just call it out, like if she was down the street and someone was rude to her, she'd say, that's rude. don't be rude.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just straight up. She didn't get all emotional, upset about it. She just called it out, you know, and yeah, that's why I think a lot of people really liked your character too. Like a lot of people appreciate people that are just upfront, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, not
I
two-faced.
There was you see where in one of the episodes where I have words with Jamie, and you don't see the whole exchange because she didn't just take it sitting down. We had a little exchange, but I also had some words with Sydney that you don't really see me calling Sydney out. But you know, there's only so much time they can devote to that sort of thing. But yeah, I you know, they named, when I saw that episode 3, I think was named Going to Hell on a Scholarship, I was like, oh, that was me. I said that, didn't I? And I couldn't remember who I said it about. I was like, I either said it about Sydney or Jamie. It was one of those two. But oh well.
Do you still keep in contact with any of them?
Yes, we all, after the filming, we all connected on Instagram, got into a group chat, and we're all connected on Instagram with each other. And Sam just had a baby last week. Just had a baby girl. And yeah, and Sydney is really pursuing a career in, you know, kind of modeling, entertainment, TV, something or another. Kyle has moved to Texas. So, you know, and Chris and I are going to do something together. Something, I don't know what, but we're going to get together.
Good. That's
it's
amazing.
good. And speaking of Instagram, I've been following you for the last couple of weeks too, and going back through your stuff. And you know, as someone who likes Texas, and I'm just amazed by America in so many ways. I'm such a tourist when I go there. I love the accents. I love the culture. I've been looking
That's
forward.
That's like me with Australia. I spent 6 weeks in Sydney. I flew to Australia when I was 53.
Yeah.
By myself, not knowing anybody there. I rented a flat for 6 weeks in Kirribilli area of Sydney, and arrived before I spent New Year's watching the bridge, and went back after Australia Day. So yeah, that's like me. I love things Australian. So
when
sorry,
are
I
you
didn't
going to
mean
come
to
back down under? Come on, surely you're going to come back down under.
I know I need to.
Yeah,
I went up to
Queensland.
Coast.
Did you? Yeah, Gold Coast, Queensland. Queensland. So many nice places in Queensland, up the coast, all the way up to the Townsville, where there's a poker series up there. There's some beautiful. Australia's an amazing place. I haven't been to half the country, just like I guess you wouldn't have been to half of America. It's such a big country. But yeah, no, I've loved watching your Instagram stuff. You did some funny sayings, the Texas local slang. I find that really funny. You did a poker joke on there. That was really funny as well.
Yeah, we may do some more of those, I think. They did in the, you know, the one-on-one interviews. Sometimes they would say something Southern. And, you know, I would say things all the time, but, you know, on demand, I was like, well, you can put your boots in the oven, but that don't make them biscuits. And, you know, one of the things they really wanted me to say was, would you say you've got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them? And after about them asking 4 or 5 times, I said, yeah, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah. You have to force a poker player to say that, you know.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I can't say that. Yeah. But yes, I did. I was kind of surprised they didn't use as many of them as I said, because I thought, okay, they want me to say all the Southern, you know, butter my butt and call me a biscuit. You know, they want me to do that. And so I was like, all right, you know, but they didn't use that much of it.
Yeah. We had a bit of an argument on our show a few episodes ago about what we call the main meal of an evening, because, and I saw this recently posted on your Instagram. So I call it dinner. Cathy calls it dinner, but Troy calls it tea. Now, I've occasionally called it tea, but tea's a drink, right? Or something, you know, you have afternoon tea or morning tea. But in Australia, particularly in the country, you know, areas of Australia, or what you'd say the southern areas of America, which Troy's from country Victoria. I'm originally from country as well. We go and we say, what are we having for tea? You know, we're talking about the main meal, you know, at night. So I thought that was an interesting one. You call it
tea.
supper.
Yeah, tea is just a liquid.
Yeah.
Here in America, it's just a liquid. So it's not a meal. But in the South, they typically say supper. You're going to have supper.
Yeah, well, you can
And dinner
eat tea in
might be a little
Australia.
bit more formal, but it kind of depends on where you're from. But you can have lunch and then dinner at night, or sometimes people say dinner, they mean lunch, and supper is at night.
Yeah,
Oof,
yeah.
that's confusing.
No, that's just part of the thing that amazes me when I go to America, and I love the culture over there, just the sayings and things, and you really get into it. And sometimes, I don't think I've done it today, but sometimes I actually start mimicking an American accent, like a really, really bad one, like not deliberately, just as when you start talking to people. I know my wife says I do that. She goes, "What are you doing? Just talking just talk normal." And I'm like, "I am." She's like, "No, you sound like a bad actor."
Well, it was surprising to me when I went to Australia that people really do say good day. I was like, first time somebody did, I was like, they really say good day down here, you know.
Yeah.
Crocodile hunter or something, you know. We were, but I love the Australian accent. So
we don't say put a shrimp on the barbie. We don't say that.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone say that.
I say Australia. I don't say Australia. I say Australia.
Well, we say we just cut it shorter. We just say Australia.
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 We called it Oz or Oz.
Or Oz. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Australia's an awesome country, as is America. We usually ask our guests how they sort of got into poker a bit. You know, like, you know, did you grow up playing it with your family or friends, or, you know, your grandma, or
Well, when I was about 12 years old, visiting relatives in Indiana, I had a salty old uncle who was a retired Navy man who taught me how to play poker. And he said, "Little girl, you never know when you might have to make your living another way." And we would play for pennies, but I just learned straight, you know, 5-card stud, that, you know, 7-card draw, that sort of thing. And then around a little after 2000, I liked playing cards and things. I went to a charity casino night with a friend of mine, and we were playing blackjack, and there was all these tables of people playing Texas Hold'em tournament. And I said, "What are they doing? That looks a lot more interesting than this." And I kind of went over and watched and said, "I want to learn how to do this." So I, read the book, kind of thing, and started learning how to play Texas Hold'em. And they have amateur poker leagues in every city all over the U.S. On any given night in the Dallas area, there's at least 5 or 6 places you can play. You guys call it pub poker, I guess. And so it's free rolls and that sort of thing. And, the prizes can be $200 or $300. And so I started going to some amateur poker leagues, and the WPT had a pretty big amateur poker league, and really learning how to play. And I even qualified for the WPT had a World Amateur Invitational they would do in Vegas. And I qualified for that. And it was a 4-day tournament in Vegas, and I finished in the top 100. And so I was, the first place was like cruises and everything. I think I won a coffee mug. But it was fun. It was a good experience. And the next year I went to that same charity event and I won the tournament. It kind of got me hooked. And then I played for a while, and then I kind of went through several years where I didn't play it at all. And then I started getting back into it. And I really started playing seriously about 4 years ago when I got close to retirement and I would have more time to play. So, back in the early 2000s, I still had kids at home. So it was kind of hard to, get away and go play that often. But now my husband still works. So I try not to play late nights. There's so many, there's a lot of card houses in the area, and there are tournaments that start at 7 o'clock at night and they don't finish till 2 or 3 in the morning. And he gets up to go to work at 5:30 in the morning. So that doesn't work real well. So I try not to play the late night ones.
Do you mostly play cash or tournaments?
I play tournaments.
Tournaments, yeah.
Almost all tournaments. And one of the things that I know you guys have kind of different poker systems, because you were talking about the rakes and everything. Casinos are illegal in Texas. So gambling is illegal in Texas, but there are legal poker rooms. So in order to be a poker room, they have to have a membership and charge for a membership. And that can range anything from $10 a day to $10 a month. Or I have the senior citizen rate. I've got like $10 through the end of the year. So, but you have to have a membership. And then in cash games, they charge an hourly rate to go play the cash games, and there's no rake.
Right.
So
In tournaments, they take a percentage off of the buy-in. So like if I'm in a tournament that's $175 buy-in, the prize pool might be $150 of that goes to the prize pool and 25 goes to the house. Or I played one yesterday that was $65 buy-in, $50 went to the prize pool and 15 went to the house.
Yeah.
So I'm not paying a seat fee or anything else like that. It's just they take a percentage.
Yeah.
So I think that is different from what you guys do. In casinos, they're taking a rake. And they also do the same sort of thing where they're charging on a tournament. They're taking a percentage of it out of the prize pool for the casino.
Yeah.
But there are, within an hour's drive of me, there are 10 poker rooms. So if you look at in Las Vegas, they have 20 poker rooms in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I would say Texas probably has 100.
Wow.
Yeah. One of my mates has been going to Dallas to play PLO cash, and he said it's a gold mine over there. You should really go over there. So it's on the to-do list at some point.
There are every poker room has at least one tournament a day. Some of them have 2 or 3 a day. And, they might have one that starts at 11 o'clock in the morning and then one starts at 6 o'clock in the evening, or, 3 in the afternoon and 7 o'clock at night. And the blinds, some of them might be turbo, some of them might be 20 or 30-minute blinds. It kind of varies. And then they have big tournaments on a regular basis. Sometimes the WPT will sponsor one, or Poker Atlas or something like that. The one that I played in last month was, I guess it was the one at the end of August, had 10 flights over 5 days, and the top 10% of each of those flights bagged for day 2. And then if you bag, you're going to get paid. You're in the money.
Yeah.
So the one I entered had almost 1,800 people enter the flights. And so that was 180, that bagged and went to day 2 on Sunday. And so some of those you finish, 20th or something, you're still making 4 figures at least. First place was, I think, around $75,000. There's usually at least once a month. I would say of all the card houses, there's at least 3 or 4 big tournaments a month where the buy-in might be higher. And in fact, that one that I was telling you they had the flights to, the following month they had one, and it was $1,600 entry, but they had satellites. That was for $1,600 to enter the flight, but then you could enter a satellite for $50 and win the seat into the flight. And then if you win the flight, you get to go to the final one. And it's, over 100K first place.
Yeah.
So there's at least 2 or 3 of those. So if you're a good player, you'd be surprised how many professional poker players there are in the area.
Yeah, Dallas and Texas. Definitely a good place to go, Troy, I reckon.
Yeah,
and I'm just talking about tournaments. I'm not talking about cash.
Yeah.
Well, I got told my mate that plays a lot of PLO. He said it was free money.
Yeah. No, but that's the point too. It's like with the tournament poker, and you said you got in there, you went to a charity event and you loved it, and you got into it. We like to sort of promote poker as a game that sort of anyone can sort of play. You get people from all walks of life. You'd have people that travel around the Dallas tournament scene, and some of them, they just travel from game to game to game. They don't have a partner or something that they have to go home. They just play, and you're going to have people that are retired. You're going to have males, females, all ages. And, poker's one of those games, isn't it, where you've got something for everyone, and it doesn't matter. There's no discrimination about, who can play it, You don't have to be a fit superstar. You don't have to be, good, tall. You don't have to be skinny. You can be, that's great.
Not be athletic, yeah. Actually, there's one of the guys I play with once a month. I play in a monthly tournament that's fairly close to my house. It's a private game that a guy has in his house or behind his house. And when I first heard about it about 3 years ago, and somebody told me I can get you invited to it, and he has it in this, barn kind of thing behind his house. And so I thought, I'm going to get somebody to go with me because I'm just going to show up at this stranger's house and he's got a room out back. And, wasn't quite sure about it. And he has one of these barn-dominium, I guess, kind of big metal buildings. And there's a guy I play with there who has had some sort of medical procedure where he can't talk. He has a little breathing thing here.
Yeah.
But you can play poker without talking.
Oh, yeah. Right.
True. Yeah.
It's you don't have to talk to play poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a deaf poker society here in Australia. So there's a whole bunch of people who aren't able to talk or aren't able to hear, and anyone can play poker.
Yeah.
And that's actually what I wanted to ask you, because the big thing on our show is that we like to promote poker to anyone, even if you're watching our show and you don't even play. Like, you're the voice of the show, Lydia. So maybe you should just tell us, why should you play poker?
Well, for me, it's like working puzzles. It's part of keeping your cognitive abilities. And I think it's good for your memory. It's good for social interaction. So many people, live online now. It's good to be face to face with people and interacting. And I think as people age, I think it's a good thing to keep your brain that active, because you're talking to people, you're interacting with people, you're using your memory, you're using a lot of different skills that have to do with, I'm not a math genius, but you're using a lot of different skills in trying to read people and keeping up with the game and the betting orders and just knowing your hands and learning the game is, I think, a good skill to keep you young.
100%.
You never stop learning. Like, the thing with poker is you think you figured something out and then there's a whole nother realm of things to explore. It's so good.
Do you do much study or anything like that for the game?
I actually have a poker coach now, Jeff Madsen, who lives in Vegas. And I do, I've been taking the Elliott Rose Masterclass which is more of a mindset kind of thing. And I do study GTO. So now if I'm playing, and it kind of depends on, who you're playing as to how much GTO you're using.
Absolutely.
But, and, CMI and that sort of thing. And even though I already knew how to play poker, as a child, I didn't know how to play Texas Hold'em poker. And I will tell you, I played recently I guess you'd call it a Jack and Jill tournament, a partners tournament. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you sit down 30 minutes and then your partner sits down with your same chit stack.
Yeah.
And so in the 30 minutes that we switched out, everybody went to go play a little cash game. And I was like, okay, great, I'll go play cash. But it was dealer's choice. So they were playing PLO, Congress, all these things. And I was like, I don't know how to play Omaha. And they're, we're going to do high-low. And I was like, I don't know how to play this. And I'm playing with real money here, So I was a little bit thrown off to go, okay, look, I've got Texas Hold'em down pretty well, but if we're going to start throwing in all these different little versions of Omaha, high-low, Congress, all these different, I was like, I'm going to sit that out. I just want to play Hold'em, So no, but I might as well learn them.
Yeah, I know how to play all the mixed game stuff. It's very fun, those games as well, once you know how to play them.
They have also tournaments. They have ladies tournaments. I don't know if you guys do ladies tournaments in Australia or seniors.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we call them the Masters, actually. In America, they call them Masters event over 50s. And we have a Young Guns. Catherine actually won the Young Guns a couple of years ago now. The Australian.
We don't have a Young Guns.
Yeah.
We have a seniors, and then sometimes they'll do a super seniors, which is 65 and over. But the seniors is 50 or 55 and over. I don't know. I qualify. So, But there's 2 casinos on the Oklahoma-Texas border that are about an hour from me. And one of them hosts WPT twice a year and the WSOP twice a year. And so they'll do ring events, or they'll do bracelet, ring events and stuff. And you can qualify for the main event in Vegas and that sort of thing. So I'll go up sometimes and play the ladies or the seniors. And there's a card house here in Dallas that is going to host a ladies weekend tournament that is coming up in a couple weekends, and there'll be ladies from all over the country that will be coming to it. And I've gone down to Houston to a poker room down there and played in a ladies tournament before. And I've gone to Austin and played in a just tournament just because everybody had said, you should go play there. And I just went down to play.
Yeah.
What would your average buy-ins be? Like, do you play like $1,000 buy-ins, $200 buy-ins, $500 buy-ins?
Usually I'm locally, I'm usually doing at about $150, $175 buy-ins. Your daily, kind of tournament. And then the once a month tournaments, those will be higher. Those will be over $500, sometimes over $1,000. I don't plunk down 10,000. Now there are private games in Dallas where it's $10,000 to walk in the door, but I don't frequent those.
yeah, that's fair enough.
Tell me a little bit, like, I've always wanted to go to Texas, and it's just funny we're talking about Texas Hold'em poker. You're from Texas, love that. But Cowboys. I don't know, like, is it what's in Texas? Like the image I have in my head is like a saloon and the horses and like the train tracks. Like, what's Texas like today? Like, what is it?
Nothing like that. Nothing like that. That's like saying Sydney's like the Outback. I mean, nothing like that. When I went to Australia, one of the things I said was, I want to see a kangaroo. I want to, pet a kangaroo. And they were like, well, you don't just drive up and they come up to your car. It's like, so I went to a Skippy Park so I could see some kangaroos. But it's not the Wild West. But I will say, like, the once a month place that's out behind this guy's house, when you pull up and you park in the field in front of his house, it's all pickup trucks. And, one guy's a plumber and one guy's an AC repair guy. And then this guy's a doctor. And then this guy is, a real estate agent. This one's a financial planner. But a lot of them are, basic blue collar jobs, and they're driving pickup trucks. But in Dallas proper, there's not as many of those. And the guys, in fact, one of the things that's very popular on my Instagram and TikTok is, which of these outfits should I wear to go play poker? And at first I thought, oh, nobody's going to care. Oh, yeah, they do. And the guys all dress like they're going out to do yard work. They look like slobs. But I'm going to dress nice. And the poker rooms are freezing cold. Freezing cold. They have the air conditioning turned down. You could hang meat in there. It's so cold. And so I'm usually trying to get my sweater and, should I wear this hat? That kind of thing. And that's very popular on which outfit should I wear to go play poker in, because maybe I want to look tough, and I'm going to be right next to this motorcycle guy with tats up, the sleeve of tats on his arms and stuff. And then on the other side of me is, 22-year-old girl. So it is mostly men. I will say that. Yeah. I would say in any tournament I play in with 100 people there might be 4 or 5 women. Some of the dailies
pretty similar to Australia.
Yeah, some of the dailies I play in, I'm the only woman.
Just want to ask you one more question. You're a Dallas Cowboys fan, I presume, in the NFL?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course.
I'm not sure if you noticed, I'm wearing my Brisbane Broncos hat and shirt today. The Brisbane Broncos won the rugby NRL grand final this weekend, actually, just gone, and which is a bit like our Super Bowl.
Well, one of my favorite sayings about the Dallas Cowboys, because I was a Cowboys fan back when, Tom Landry was a coach and Roger Staubach was the, quarterback, and, from way back when they would win a lot. And People joke, when I die, I want the Cowboys to be my pallbearer so they can let me down one last time.
Oh,
That's a good one.
I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. As I mentioned, we do have a trivia segment on the show today.
Before we commence today's trivia, I must reveal that one of you was given a secret agenda before we started recording. I can also reveal that this person has now completed their secret agenda. They have survived being banished from the podcast and can now use ChatGPT to help answering the questions. That is, unless you can identify who had the secret agenda.
So, what do you mean?
No.
You're all pretending you don't know. I spoke to one of you before the show, and I gave you a secret agenda. All right, unless I'm
Troy.
going loopy.
What? What the hell, Troy? What did he do?
I don't know what he's talking
I
about.
think it was Cathy. It was Cathy asking me about the saloons and the railroad tracks and everything.
Oh, really? Because if you work out who it is, if you're both right, then they don't get to use ChatGPT. Who do you reckon it is, Cathy? You reckon it's
I
Troy,
think
obviously.
so.
Not
Yeah,
you don't
I
reckon
do
it's
think
Lydia. And Troy, who do you reckon it is? Cathy or Lydia?
I'm gonna go Cathy.
Oh, Lydia reckons it's Cathy. So it's 2 Cathy. Yeah, you're right. It was Cathy. She did the she didn't get away with it. But she doesn't get the full punishment. Which
The
was
punishment was so bad. Oh my god! I had to say you're the voice. I had to say the horses, and I had to say down under. Like painful.
These are all iconic.
On the podcast.
Yeah, they're all iconic Australian songs, which she had to name. And the reward was she got to use ChatGPT if she got away with it. But obviously, Lydia's worked out that was a scam. And the punishment was she's banished from the podcast forever. So anyway, that was a bit of fun. But anyway, I wanted to ask you, get into the trivia. Just a couple of quick ones because we've been speaking for a while, so we won't go too on. I thought I'd stick with the Texas Australia theme. This one might be a pretty easy one. It might not be. On the Texas flag and the Australian flag, which flag has the most stars?
Australia.
Do we just say buzz in, buzz in?
Yeah, no, you don't have to buzz in. Australia. What do you reckon, Troy? Australia?
I'm gonna go with Australia. I don't know.
Yeah. Texas is known as the Lone Star, I think.
One star.
Yeah.
All right. New South Wales, the state in Australia, where Sydney's the capital, obviously, and Texas, Dallas, Texas. Which is the biggest state by area? Texas or New South Wales?
Texas.
Texas? What do you reckon, Troy? Texas or New South Wales?
I think Texas.
I'll go Texas as well.
Really? Texas is the second largest state in America.
Yeah.
But it's actually smaller than New South Wales. New South Wales is 800 square kilometers, which is like 300 square miles. And Texas is 268 square miles, 700.
Yeah, you guys have got the Blue Mountains.
Yeah. New South Wales is the fifth largest in Australia, but it's actually bigger than Texas. Yeah. All right. Both Australia and Texas are known for their dangerous outback creepy crawlies. Is that right? Which state has the most dangerous scorpions? Australia or Texas?
Texas.
Australia.
Texas.
Australia.
Australia?
Not Texas. We don't have
Texas?
scorpions.
Australia.
Yeah, we do, but
Yeah, we
they're
do.
only small.
Australia has the desert scorpion.
Everything toxic. Every biting. Everything that could kill you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. That's pretty much true. But according to AI, Texas actually has the more venomous, more dangerous scorpions. They have this one called the striped bark scorpion or something.
That's in West Texas. Nobody goes there. Yeah.
I'm not really keeping score here. I don't know. Texas being a major poker state in America, they've had multiple WSOP main event world champions. You know, Doyle, Johnny Moss. Who is their most recent World Series of Poker main event champion from Texas? Who's the most recent? Well, who won the last one? Was it the Grinder? Was it Mizraki? Is he from Texas?
He's not from Texas.
No, he's not. What about the one before that?
No, he's not.
Jonathan Tomeo. Is he from Texas?
No.
He actually
way.
is.
Yes.
It's Jonathan Tomato is the answer. Yeah, he's from a place called, I don't know, he's from a place called Humble in Texas. Apparently, that's where he's
Well,
from.
that's down near Houston.
There you go.
Now I play with TJ Coltier,
Do
who
you?
is Doyle Brunson era, 10 years older than Dirt. I mean, he's, still playing, and I see him on a regular basis. We play together.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
That's
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah, we have a couple of guys like that. Doyle Brunson era. We got Mel Judah, Australian. You may not know. He does have a World Series of Poker bracelet in 7-card stud, actually. Mel Judah, one of our greats, and Gary Benson's got another one, and a few of the old guys. Okay, a couple of questions on $1 Million Secret. Starting in episode 2, who hit the most clay targets in the shooting challenge? Who hit the most clay targets in the shooting challenge? Episode 2. You remember?
Was it Tara?
The chick that won, wasn't
She
it?
hit one.
Oh yeah, I know she did.
You only got one. Actually, I was going to ask you, was that legit? It was her first time shooting ever, and she shot a target. I find that very difficult.
That's why I
Yeah.
remembered her, because I was like, I didn't think she'd get any.
In fact, Kyle is a hunter. I mean, that guy goes duck hunting,
He
quail
missed
hunting.
them, didn't he?
He could shoot anything. And
He missed
yeah,
her.
so I think it was a little off. Yeah.
I don't reckon she. I reckon she.
I'm
missed
just
it.
saying that exciting.
Did you see her actually shoot the target?
I think Jamie was the one that got the most.
Yeah, she did. She got 2 correct
Oh.
in episode 3.
And she had never shot a gun either.
Yeah, that's why I don't believe she did actually shoot it.
It's not actually that hard. Like I've done it a few times.
We might have.
I blame it on the wind.
Episode 3. Who did Peter call a coward for not attempting the secret agenda?
I know, but I can't remember his name.
He said when he was talking to Corey in the trophy room, he said, "Now the millionaire didn't even attempt the secret agenda. You coward," something like that. Who was that?
Oh.
The second person that got the $1 million, the dark skinned guy. I can't remember his name, but is that
Phil?
Phil.
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 Yeah, that's it.
Phil coward. Oh.
Was Phil? Was
Okay.
Phil? Yep. Lydia knew that, obviously. And this
Yeah.
one in episode 5.
Well, the agenda was. Hey, wait. The agenda was pretty. He had to do something pretty crazy, right?
No, that one he had to. I can tell you. Do you know what it was?
Well, he did the scream one.
He did the
Yeah.
scream.
Yeah.
He didn't get away with that because of the clue. He had to get 3 people to say no to the question, "Do you believe me?" was what he did.
Yeah. That's.
Try and do
I
it.
mean,
I actually didn't think that was too hard, to be honest. But anyway.
I thought that would be
I
pretty.
thought it was easy.
But
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
that
the
was
reason he didn't do it is because he thought he wasn't going to get voted for anyway, right?
There was no one on him. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I don't hate the idea, but anyway.
Episode 5, which was a really important episode. What was the secret agenda that Sam completed to earn the kill shot? That
Falling
Ruby-
over. For like
No.
to no.
No, it wasn't falling over.
Oh,
Troy?
that was. Oh my god, I know who that was now. I just.
And it
Remember-
wasn't the get 3 people to say Justin Timberlake either.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
that.
That
never
was
mind.
later.
Um,
I
That's
don't
hard
confuse Sydney. I said Sydney's one.
do you remember
Um,
Troy?
Is that the one where she had the hug?
No. She
Yeah.
actually tried
Said,
it out
did
on
you hear
video.
that ring?
Yeah,
Did you
she
hear
tried
that
it.
ring? And she had to get somebody to say yes.
She asked you that.
Yeah.
Did you think anything
Oh,
off then? Were you under or anything like that? No, it was pretty. She was actually pretty good at it. I thought she did well, and
She
the way
was.
she ended up getting it was quite cool in that other shooting challenge.
Yeah.
Anyway, she earned the kill shot, and she unfortunately rudely got you. She shot
Yep.
the strategy to get rid of you, and no one was already. I don't think you were going to go, and
I still think
Yeah.
that
No,
was.
we had enough. I had enough
Yes,
votes for Sydney to go home that night, and Sydney knew it. And
Yeah.
she got the votes, but
Yeah.
oh well. That's
Why
it's like
you?
getting the bad beat. What are you gonna do?
I think it's pretty
Sure.
safe to say that Lydia won this challenge. Obviously, having the inside
Yeah.
knowledge, Catherine. I don't know. ChatGPT might not have been able to help you anyway with some of those questions. They were kind of maybe the area.
I reckon it
one,
would have helped me with the land size.
but yeah, that was probably the only one. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Because I made up these questions. I tried to use ChatGPT, and I had no idea. I said, "Who was the last person that Texan to win the main event?" And it said, "Lots of people from Texas have won the main event: Doyle Brunson, Emerald Slim, Sailor Pete. And I'm like, that's not what I asked you. You couldn't tell me. So I actually had to go back through the last champions, and it didn't take me long. Luckily, I just went through them and bang, Jonathan Tomato, Texas. So, Lydia, we give you the win there. Well done.
You don't get $1 million though. We're sorry.
No.
Yeah, I'm still doing, basically, I'm just playing poker, doing the grandma thing, you know. And I've got Instagram, TikTok, I'm all over social media.
Yeah. You've got that website, lydiatexasgrandma.com.
Lydia Texas Grandma, and that's my Instagram and my TikTok handles. And now I'm a content creator, which I never imagined doing in my 60s any more than I imagined being on a reality show in my 60s. So, and I really think they chose me. Thank you. I really think they chose me because of the poker playing, because I was great talking, poker playing grandma from Texas, and they knew I wasn't going to take shit off anybody. And so
and you're very sharp. You're a very sharp person, by the way. I noticed that about you on the show. I was like, that was one of the things that stood out. Like, I was like, you're very on the ball. You're a very sharp woman, and I give you props for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think you'd be fun to have on the poker table too. So I hope.
I had fun at the poker table. I'll tell you, there's a lot of things that being a woman at the poker table you can use to your advantage. Yes. And I do. Yeah. And a lot of times you just sit down and start talking. And some of the guys got their earphones on and their hoodies up and everything, and they're trying to pay attention. And I can multitask, so I can sit here and, yak your ear off and still be paying attention to, that guy defends his button every time. That guy is going to raise on, the small blind every time. This guy never lets go of a hand, and this guy limps all the time. I'm still paying attention to all that and can sit here and bug. So, but yeah, I can be nice, or if they're nice back to me.
Well, an Australian female poker player you would know would be Lynn Gilmartin. She's the WPT anchor. Lynn, who does the WPT microphone, the announcing and all that. She's an Aussie, and she actually says that if men or anyone underestimate your poker table, just use it to your advantage. She says, I love it when men underestimate me and think I'm just some girl that's got no idea, because they don't know, they get a shock when I just, outplay them. They don't expect me to, so that's the best way to approach that. I reckon. I agree with you. So just wanted to thank you once again for coming on the podcast. Hopefully you do get back over to Australia and we can see you, or we get over to Texas and we can definitely go to Dallas and hang out in the card rooms. I love tournament poker. Troy loves tournament poker. So does Cathy. So if we do get over there, we'll be hunting you down. We'll be going, where's Texas Grandma?
There's a high chance they'll come over at some point to play some PLO cash.
Yeah, I don't think you'll find Lydia playing that, but
look at action. One of the reality guys, when the show came out, said, I knew I recognized her from somewhere. She won $56,000 down in Bermuda at a so-and-so tournament. I've never been to Bermuda. And, when I was showing you, no, I didn't. You haven't seen me on TV at the poker table. But, oh, well.
Yeah.
I usually get recognized in the poker rooms, as opposed to in the grocery or in a restaurant or something like that. When I go to sit down and poker, it's almost every time there's somebody who recognizes me.
Yeah.
And also, I'm, kind of regular, but typically there'll be somebody new that will say, where have we played together or something like that? Or if I go to the casino in Louisiana, Oklahoma, Vegas, or something like that, they'll say, or I went to a charity event last week and some people, kind of recognized me. And then they started thinking I was a professional poker player and they just didn't know who I was. And maybe I was a big poker player, but they didn't know. And because I was twirling my chips and they, it's a charity thing and they were like, ooh, she knows what she's doing, kind of thing. So then they were all like, who exactly is she? So it was kind of funny.
I mean, you asked Troy about.
They'll do a selfie. Can I get a selfie with you? But they don't even know who you are. But because they know you're somebody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Troy came up to a player series on the Gold Coast recently. He stayed at our place and played a big series up here. And, just being on the podcast, he'd sit down at the table, or people would be, go up to him because he's playing every event and they knew he's on the podcast, or they'd say hello. And
It's the weirdest feeling.
He can't bluff anymore because people just want to knock him out because he's on the podcast,
Don't let it distract you. At first, it kind of messed my game up a little bit. People start asking questions and distracting me, and I'm going to go. Just because I'm not in the hand doesn't mean I can't pay attention to what's going on here.
Yeah.
So I'm nice and everything, but pretty soon I'm like, I have no idea what to expect from this guy. I haven't been paying attention because I've been yakking with this person. So.
Yeah, I lost a lot of fold equity when people recognized who I was, so that they just wanted to take me out for the story.
Yeah, you got a bounty on you now.
Yeah, pretty much.
We have found the good news. We have found that most of our guests that come on this podcast, within a week, they win a tournament or something.
It's true. It's actually so true. We call it the podcast run good. It's been happening like every single time a guest comes on. Next week or two, they've got like a result, like they've come second, or they've won a tournament, or they've like capped or final table.
Hopefully, you get that post run good as well. So
okay, I'll post when I win because I'm playing Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday this week. So
there's a high chance at one of them.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll back you in there to get at least one of those first or seconds or up there anyway. So anyway, Lydia, thanks for joining us today. I just want to wrap up the podcast. Obviously, if you did like the episode and you like what we do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment there. If you've got any other questions for Lydia, leave them in the comments as well. We'll share it, and maybe Lydia will jump on there and answer some of the questions as well. So like and subscribe. Jump on our socials, Instagram and Facebook, Poker Pulse Podcast. There's plenty of series coming up around Australia, so check out the australianpokerschedule.com.au. If you like the hoodie that Troy's wearing or any of those hoodies, jump on Project Sunrun for those. Other than that, guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
okay, thanks.
Thanks so much, Lydia. Bye.